Hello, everybody. How's it going? I'm live. So here is my live Q&A. I don't have anything planned, but if you've come with your questions, just go ahead and post them. And we will start with, let's see, get out my handy, whatchamacallits. Hey, Jeannie, how is it going? Hello. Yes, I am so glad you caught me live as well. Got the pure spread handy and the... Let's see. Hi, Lashana. How's it going? So one thing I need to do on my website is make it easier to get a hold of me. I found a communication from somebody. Hey, Jason. Got a communication from somebody from last July. Somebody who had ordered a kit and they were having trouble opening it. And oh my gosh, so she sent me her email address through Instagram, which I never check, which I need to start to get active with. And it'd be fun to have ideas for things I could do for Instagram, like, I don't know, daily postings, daily readings, things like that. But anyway, yeah, so we made contact and gave her my number, so we're texting, and I invited her to the live, so hopefully she'll show up. So, does anybody have any questions? Anything they want to talk about? So today is I don't even know the date. I usually don't know the date. Oh, it's the 16th, which is the 9 of diamonds. Yeah, I need to work with my website and create a landing page for the certification. I'm so excited. I'm working more and more on writing the outline for that and figuring out why I'm doing it. Do the card of the day and go over the birth card and the ruler and how to move in that energy. That's a really good idea. So let's start out with that today. So the 9 of diamonds today, an Aquarius. Oh, that's your ruling card. Okay. So go ahead and post your cards again. I'm starting to remember what your cards are, but let's start out with the position, the planetary intersection of the 9 of diamonds being horizontal Saturn and vertical Neptune. So Saturn-Neptune, we can get an idea of that intersection through people who are the 9 of diamonds and who are the 5 of diamonds, like Jeannie. So it tends to be a very balanced energy. They're versatile. That's kind of the key word for that energy. So far, I've experienced a lot of versatility today, a whole bunch of different variety of energies and a sense of calm. Ray, hello. Good day. It is a good day. So, of course, the lesson of the 9 of diamonds, with its placement in the mundane spread, we have Uranus, Mars. So a lot of Queen of Diamonds energy to look at too, right? The 9 of diamonds tend to be really generous. And I find that the 5 of diamonds tend to be more easily, naturally generous, whereas the 9 of diamonds they're trying to learn how to be generous. But 5 of diamonds just like, oh man, they're so kind. So their mindset is just, how can I help? And I think that that's partly a result of um, having a bunch of cards in the Uranus line. So I did a progression one time of the horizontal lines and kind of how it influences your Nine of Diamonds. It's looked at as a negative energy, like I'm going to lose something. But the way I phrase it is that energy goes out from the Nine of Diamonds, and if you're not willing for the energy to go out, you might lose money or things of value. But if you're surrendered, for me, that was the key word. And I have a Christian background, so that kind of, I guess it's more accessible if you've got kind of a Christian background. What does surrender mean? Surrendering to a plan that is above and beyond what you might be aware of. And if you are aware of the need to be generous or how important it is, if you're willing, then the energy that goes out from you tends to be, a little bit more on your terms, and it's a joyful thing to give what we have. Jeannie, the 5 of Diamonds / 9 of Diamonds, says, I'm terrible. I used to give away like 10 products in every order, just intuitively pulling things I thought could help from my apothecary. My spiritual mom, who's a king of clubs, only allows me to give one. That's such a great example. It's like you don't have to give the farm away, which brings up the caretaking program. Anybody who has a 9 going on active in their hand is going to kind of fall prey to the idea that you have to give in order to be loved. So I call it literally a card that we have to play. The 9 knows how to give themselves away. And if they're doing it in order to get something, to feel secure, to feel loved, then it's really an attempt to control other people. But if you're, when you finally gain that depth and security and the worthiness, yeah, it's easier to give than to receive, because the 9 energy has a hard time intrinsically knowing their value. And that's what they're here to learn is I have intrinsic value just being. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to give anything. I can just be loved. And I think that is probably the number one challenge of being a human on the earth. I have value as I am, and I'm acceptable as I am. So, yeah, okay, so 9s are also an energy of harvest. It's a completion of a cycle. It's the last number in the numerology. In the Enneagram, the 9s are seen as people that have the gift of insight and the capacity to relate to and understand all of the other numbers, which is very similar to the Russian nesting dolls principle of the cards, that the higher the rank of the card, the more culminated wisdom they kind of have within them. I think it's kind of a worthwhile theory to think about. So, yeah, 9s kind of, the challenge for the 9 is to separate who they are and what their experience is from those around them, because there's emerging energy. They're very intuitive, very empathic. And so a very useful question for us today is, am I feeling someone else's energy today? You walk into a room, suddenly you have anxiety. Maybe it's not yours. And that's always the last question I ask myself, even though I'm a 9 and I have that experience all the time. So if I really practice being clear about my experience and discerning, then it's easier to identify what's mine and what's not mine. 9 is a good energy to kind of get a feeling of the whole, the composite of the group of people that you're with, the energy of the day, kind of more the cosmic, cosmos, cosmo meaning the whole. To kind of grok that and feel that. 9 as an ending energy, it's good to work with what are we letting go of? What are we done with? What has reached some completion? What am I coming to no longer value? As well as what are my new insights about what I do value? Yeah. So the planetary ruling card today, the Nine of Diamonds, the Aquarius card would be, the Uranus card is the Four of Diamonds. And let's pair that with the ascending Uranus, which is the Three of Spades. So Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter. No, wait. Yeah. The Three of Spades ascending. So if we're looking at the mundane hand spread, the Four of Diamonds is an energy of having enough, having a sense of structure. Something that Robert Camp said about the Four of Diamonds, which resonates with me, is when it shows up as an event, it means that you're going to have enough, maybe with a tiny little bit to spare, but you're going to have enough. You're going to have what you need. So it causes you, kind of forces you to ask, what are my priorities here? As in, like, covering my bills. What are the essentials? What are the most important things to think about? And I see Four of Diamonds as being people who have the capacity to be very clear about what is important to them, what their values are. So yeah, today might be a day to kind of think about who you are in the larger context. Where do I fit within this context that I'm picking up on that's all around me? How do I feel about it? What do I think? Gaining clarity about where I'm sitting in the context of something. And yeah, actually I did, and that's a very subtle thing, but so I joined a Bible study, and having grown up Christian and then going way around into everything else, and then rediscovering Jesus and looking at my foundation in a completely new way, over the last, I would say 15 years. Um, it is so, I'm going into this Bible study group. It's about 20 women with a completely different sensibility of, like, I don't have all these old Christian messages hanging on about who I should be and how I should appear and how do I be, how do I fit into this? Plus, it's a very different culture now than it was when I was growing up. And I just had a very easy capacity to feel myself, just to feel comfortable in the context of these people. I had an ability to kind of, that Nine of Diamonds was like, what's the big picture of my life up till this moment? And another energy of the nine is gratitude. I just had an overwhelming feeling of gratitude because I've left a women's group that really sustained me for like the last 6 years or so. But it was built on, we came together because we had a shared ideology, which was in contrast to the larger context of where we live. And it was exactly what I needed. And then all of a sudden I realized I needed something deeper. I needed something that was, rather than an ideology, something that was more emotionally, spiritually supportive. And just kind of waited and to ask God, give me a new women's group. And yeah, so just being able to have that gratitude of like, wow, there's just such a good fit here. I just really like this group. So yeah, that's kind of a thematic. So how does that relate to the Three of Spades, the ascending Uranus card for today? The Three of Spades represents, okay, my guides are going to tell me something. Two sides of something. Since it's kind of diamond prominent, especially since the cards under the Nine of Diamonds in the mundane spread, there are a lot of diamonds there in the Moon, Sun, and Mercury positions. And then going back up through the ascending, it's all diamonds. The Three of Spades kind of gets us to ask, I really value this, but I also value this. Like the Three of Spades can make you aware of like two worlds, kind of a division. Sometimes it's two locations. I live here, but I also sort of live there. Oh, Three of Spades is your stepdaughter. It's a very special card. I have a lot to say about the Three of Spades. So yeah, and that's really relevant for me today, the two different worlds that I belong to. So um, somebody was sort of dissing the New Age community, which I don't we just hate the labels of things? It's like if you label it, you're looking at it instead of experiencing it from the inside. And it's like, well, I kind of was there for like, what, 20 years, 10 years, however long it was. It was a long time. From the time I was 27 to about 39. Yeah, it was about 12 years before I kind of rediscovered Christianity and then began sort of putting these worlds together. So, yeah, it was very comfortable today to just feel myself bridging both worlds and pulling in the collective wisdom from all of that. Um, so, the Three of Spades, the very first thing I say in my report about the Three of Spades is if you know one, do not compare yourself to them. The cards that inhabit the intersections of Jupiter and Saturn, which is, okay, Jupiter Saturn would be the Three of Spades, of course, the Six of Diamonds that lives there, and the Eight of Spades or King of Clubs. They have a power about them. It's a power to achieve. Saturn ruled people tend to be more about restriction, compression, troubleshooting. We could say the negative, what needs to be addressed, what needs to be fixed. And Jupiter is the opposite. It's expansive. It's about what's possible. It's about affirming what is being done correctly or what's good and celebrating that. So the image that I got when I was thinking about this is what works with compression and expansion? Well, an engine came to mind. And I thought how the Three of Spades I know have the capacity to be their own troubleshooters, like the difficult coach. And they also have the capacity to be their own cheerleaders and say, and this is what you can accomplish. And we think about the perfect instructor or mentor or coach would have those two abilities, and they want to be able to motivate you to successfully move forward. So yes, it also is art. It's about bringing forth that which is in you. But I think in order to do that and not get stuck in a delusion is to have these two principles really alive and operating within you. You know, what you're good at, what you can achieve, but what you have to be mindful of. So humility and confidence together. So what else? In these pausing moments, I always encourage you to ask questions. So, or just share a contemplation and insight that you had. So one of the things that I really want to include in my certification is the awareness. This is like, it's an esoteric body of knowledge, which means it's living in a way, like the Word of God is described as living and active. And what it is the Spirit is present while you're reading the words, and it's an exchange that can guide you in the moment and bring fresh perspective. And that's what this is. Hello, Cosmic Sunflower. How cute. Greetings. What's your birthday? So it is a living system in that you have dynamic exchanges with it. You're seeking a bit of information and it comes to you. It's not a static thing. And when you welcome, Two of Spades, it's amazing how many Two of Spades, and there's another Two of Spades present in this group, Raymond. I think they come into this space a lot because the card system is the Ace of Spades. So it sits right next to it. So maybe there's a natural curiosity there. Hi, Angelica. So Angelica is sharing the link. Oh, awesome. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a dynamic system, and one of the big thrusting messages I want to give my students and people who, spend time with me and glean wisdom from me. Oh my God, I completely disappeared. I did something to my, I can't see anything anymore. There I am. Yeah, Apple. My gosh, did you know that when you swipe left on your pad, everything disappears? uh, so yeah, it's what it means is that you can trust yourself. We have we have a program in this world that robs people of the understanding that they themselves are generators of wisdom. That is the King of Clubs. So, Angelica, Nine of Hearts, woo, woo. I'm a Seven of Diamonds. Your wisdom and your insights are valid, and we tend to have too much of a need to put the expert in the celebrity seat and be like, oh, they're the authority. And it's like, hey, Four of Hearts, Alina, Alina, I don't know how to say that. Anyway, welcome Four of Hearts. That's a famous author's card. Do you realize how many fantasy authors are the Four of Hearts or have that in their hand? Yeah, my theme for the Four of Hearts is that they're finding their way home through story. Um, but anyway, being able to validate your own insights and working with that system like it's a mirror reflecting you back to yourself. And that's where, like, I've had tons of sessions. I see that question. I'll get to it in a second, Jason. I've had so many instances. It doesn't happen quite as much now as it used to, but when I was, really, really digging in and gleaning a lot during those years, moments where I would just break down crying. I would look at the cards and I would just be like, I am so validated in this experience because I can see now what my hand this year means, or what this planetary influence, or what this particular connection with this person means. It just would illuminate the situation, and like the headlights only shine so far ahead of the car, but you keep moving and you keep moving and you keep seeing, and the terrain unfolds. Alina, thank you. Okay, Jason says, off topic. There is no topic in a Q&A, right? I was playing with the numerology of the cards, their position in the deck. Have you taken into account the master numbers in the cards? Absolutely. In a way, I think they're all master numbers because of my study of the book Facets of Unity by A.H. Almaas. It's the deepest look into the Enneagram that I've ever encountered. And what he does is he takes the divine principle of each number as though white light, which is love and divine wisdom or whatever, comes through a prism and splits into a rainbow. And those are all the different numbers, the different typologies, the different virtues that we're capable of. And so while he can talk about the dysfunctions of each number, he also talks about the divine quality that each number is kind of after, what they embody, but also what their stumbling blocks are and what they're trying to figure out. But yes, you're talking about 11, 22, 33, 44. Oh, the Five of Spades being 44. I've never thought about that. I thought about the significance of the Six of Spades being 45 and the 45 movable positions, like the card of karma, destiny, fate. It's interesting. And then there are 7 more. So it's like, yeah, there's destiny and karma and as it is written. But then there's this whole other thing, which we know because we're not machines. Five of Spades, 44. It's the pivot point. That's very interesting to think about. How is the Jack of Hearts, learning love? It kind of represents the child, infancy, a birth into a new kind of love, understanding something about love. And I've got to tell you, it's taking me a lifetime, but I don't mean to sound too Christian here, but literally my relationship, my living relationship with this person we call Jesus, like I know him. He talks to me, and some of you too, I'm sure. And it's all about understanding love. And because this is such a lovelorn place, love is so tough, but it's what it's all about, right? And so, yeah, I think of that initiating message is that it all starts there with love. And then 9 of clubs being 22. Okay, you're in your 3 of hearts 52-day period. 3 of hearts, I think of that as kind of a challenging, but it may be particular to my card because it's ascending Pluto. That's why it's challenging to me, to the 7 of diamonds. 3 of hearts. Yeah, a lot of variety as a 2. Oh, thanks, Roberta. The 3 of hearts will say to an even card, don't feel the need to come to a conclusion right now. Don't feel like you have to define something or choose something. Experience, be open, experiment, try things. Just be in the experience of this expansive energy, because the pips are pulling away from each other, right? So there's this energy of let's explore. And even cards tend to have a little harder time with that. Cosmic sunflowers. So how is your 3 of hearts period so far? Excellent question. Thank you for asking that. So yeah, 9 of clubs 22. It'd be good to have another book open next to me, which I'm sure you study the Chaldean thing and you look at the qualities of the master number. So comparing the qualities of the master number 22, like 11 would be the messenger, 22, maybe more about foundation, communication, relationship, me being the 33, and 44. Okay, I'm just going to say one more thing about that because you got me going. This is fascinating. My guide sat me down one time. Hi, Northern Lights. 11s, jacks, 12s, queens, 13s, kings. Oh, that's fascinating. And I think I've looked at those as a ratio thing. The jack, 1 to 1, it's like I relate to myself. And also 1 being the pioneer. Jacks are willing to pioneer something new, risk takers. The queen is 1 to 2, like they're relating to someone else, them, someone else. And the king is 1 to a group, like they're relating to a group. Yeah, I love that. So let's see, I'm going back to what was I talking about? Oh, my guide stopped me one day, and you've probably heard me say this, those of you who have been listening to me, and I apologize for the repetition, but they said, sit down, we're going to tell you what the 5 of spades is. And I was like, okay, I'd love that my guides talk to me about this shit. And they said, it means presence. So back in the days when I was trying to come up with the ultimate wisdom statements, God knows why I was doing that. Maybe it's because I'm a 7 of diamonds, but I was like, how can I just kind of encapsulate reality or wisdom or love or whatever? And I came up with this, my final one, and it gave me a sense of satisfaction. So I stopped looking for the phrase, and it was presence. Thinking of the presence of God. There are no words for that. Like, God just shows up, and what is there to say but just being in the presence? When we really come together and have a meaningful exchange with someone, we're offering them our presence. I'm not in the future or the past. I am completely here, present with you. And isn't that enlightenment, is to be in the presence? So I'm relating that to being the 44th card. There's some transcendent wisdom going on there. 55 would be the 3 of hearts. Right? Because 53, 54, 55. 3 of hearts. I don't know what that means. Okay, so we were kind of waiting for, and Ray, you're driving, so don't worry about it. But yeah, oh, he said it just started, so you don't know what to expect there. Okay. And it can be about the importance of three people. Any group of three people. Doesn't have to be like a, love triangle or something like that. Or it can represent group synergy rather than just a pair of people. The third person constitutes a group. Interesting that Jesus says, and this was the only verse I had read at my wedding, and it was the very first thing that was read, and it was Matthew something something. And Jesus said to them, wherever 2 or 3 gather in my name, there will I be among them. So that just kind of makes me think of the 3 of hearts. We're going to have a little group experience here. Okay, and Jason said, you said something about the position that you're in. Jason says, I just entered Saturn 52-day period. Our love and prayers are with you in your Saturn period. How is your Saturn period? Everyone has a different relationship to each planet. And your Western astrology chart may reveal that to you. What planets oppose you? Which ones are your friends? Saturn opposes my ascendant. So it's been my whole life. And when I turned 45, it began to become my friend. No, I'd say it wasn't until I was in my 50s that Saturn became my friend. So your 52-day period, you have the 10 of spades in the Venus-Jupiter position. So 10 of spades, if you're busy, it can be a really fun, activating time. And if you're not busy, it can lead to despair. That's like the one thing I've figured out about the 10 of spades, but it will also call you to define what is success. And I really encourage everybody, like the success card, I'm going to be successful. Define that for yourself. Is it your definition or someone else's? Okay. Catching up here, correct. Those are the individual numeric values, in my opinion. Yes, they are. Yes, and you think 55 is a 3 of hearts. Give us this day a little group, our daily bread. I love that. This year I am displacing the 7 of clubs. It's been the most challenging and recently rewarding year of my life. I have more faith. Oh, God bless you. Consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces perseverance, which must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, lacking in nothing. And if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to him. Yes! We're studying the book of James. So those are the first 5 verses. So it's been all about adopting an attitude. And I have to say, this underlies my whole study of the cards, is that you approach difficulties with an attitude of, what can I learn from this? How am I going to be changed? Am I being chastened? There's this humbling of like, oh, what do we need to learn here? And then the cards really bloom and open up. So it's like, yeah, you're like, oh, the reward of this difficulty is like more faith. And 7 of clubs, it's really going to expose your thinking. How are you thinking? The 2 of clubs does this too. What's your self-talk? And how do you want to choose it? Do you want to choose your self-talk? Choose it out of your values. So, presence in the Our Father prayer. Oh, that's so beautiful. Yes, I've been looking at the Bible completely differently, and I've also been studying the Aramaic Jesus language, and it's not currently in use, that language. It's morphed and changed, and so it is rather challenging. Even all of the Aramaic sources you can find online, and I like Neil Donald Klotz's book Prayers of the Cosmos, because it translates the Lord's Prayer into Aramaic and kind of looks at more the cultural understanding. Like, for example, Our Father who art in heaven actually translates to something much closer to this: Father, Mother, God, birther of the cosmos, who exists in eternal shimmering light. A little bigger than our Father who art in heaven. So, yeah, I have a study Bible that also, looks at different languages and word origins, all about that. So, pregnancy does three of, yes, that is a possibility with the three of hearts. You guys open for that? That's very, well, keep us informed. And the Holy Trinity, yes. And there's we know that what's his name, the electricity guy, Tesla, says the secrets of the universe are all contained in 369. And I love that in the Enneagram, the 3, 6, and 9 are isolated from the whole rest of the cards in this triangle, all their own. Yeah, and he's like, if you want to become enlightened, just study 3, 6, 9. If you want to manifest something, write it in multiple 3, 6, and 9. It's kicking your ass. What? You struggle getting started. Jason, I'm trying to track what you're saying. You can't get that out of your head. It's kicking your ass. Maybe something I was talking about at that moment. The delay is kind of a pain in the ass, isn't it? Your Saturn period ends today. You had a 9 of hearts. Oh, I see. Yeah, so 3, 6, 9 magic. 9 of hearts. Were you challenged with unconditional love? See, a lot of people are afraid of the 9s. They're like, oh, I'm going to lose something. And it's like, don't give it that canned meaning. Listen to your life and see what that vibration is for you. Look and see if you have one of those numbers in your hand, what planet it activates, what position it's sitting in, yada, yada, yada. And you'll come up with a whole different relationship to 9, for example. Angelica has found friendship with Saturn. Saturn is your bestie for better or worse. Saturn is our friend, right? The frustration and anxiety through the roof. Oh, you're the 3 of diamonds. I'm just recalling that. Yeah, the Bible, it was translated into Greek, the Septuagint. So yeah, that's one of the telephone game. Aramaic is important, Greek is important, Hebrew is important, English is important, and all the different translations during the evolution of the language of English, right? And there is value in the King James. I used to be like, oh my God, it's so archaic, but there's actually a lot of value in it. Jeannie says, 3 of hearts sits Mercury, Mercury. Yes, and that's really significant. If you look at the big X's that go through the cards, the 3 of hearts, 7 of diamonds, 6 of hearts, coming down where they sit in, Mercury, Mercury, Venus, Venus. I think that's a really worthwhile esoteric study, especially in the pure spread, which would be Ace of Hearts, 9 of Hearts, 4 of Clubs, Queen of Clubs, 7 of Diamonds, 2 of Spades, 10 of Spades. Maybe that's why we get a lot of those people in this group. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, those cards will give you a real study in that particular planet of their double intersection. Wanting to do things alone, working with others because of an intuitive pull. Interesting. Yeah, and I have noticed 3 of hearts people tend to be really socially awkward. Probably because they're supposed to learn how to be socially competent. I mean, think of your card as an assignment, not just a descriptor. That's the foundation of being given like a Sufi name or a Buddhist name. It describes you, but it also whips your ass a little bit. Yeah, mother, father, children, 3. Yeah, I've heard the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic. I wouldn't mind a pregnancy, but we'll see in time. God knows, right? The baby knows, right? They choose the day. Would make sense. 3 of hearts is the start of a child. 9 of spades is physical childbirth. Oh, I never thought of that. And 9 of spades. Wow. 9 months. I get it. Okay. Yeah, Angela, you guys have Saturn rising. Whoa, I'm jealous of anybody that has a positive Saturn aspect because they get shit done right? And they're like sane and realistic. Yeah, my mom was a January 1st baby, and man alive, if I hadn't gotten her grounding. In fact, I was just saying to my friend Kathy on the way back from Bible study, we stopped at Arby's. I was like, that was my first job when I was 14. And I was like, I don't recall the conversation, but my parents encouraged me. I'm sure they said, get a job. We had a really good relationship, so it wasn't like you have to, but I did, and it was the best possible thing that I could have done at that age to I'm all airy-fairy intuitive and, to get into physical reality. Holy cow, and I've had just the longest list. Does anyone know a 7 of diamonds? And we have a 9 of hearts here. Is this a 7 of diamonds thing? To have a ton of different kinds of jobs. Like the list of jobs that I've had throughout my life is long and fascinating and broad and really fun. I think it's a 5 of spades thing because I'm Virgo ascendant and that would be my Mercury card. So I don't know, but it's been a lot of fun. You use King James for decoding? Wow. Lose your current perspective, a shift. Hi, Righteous. You are a king of diamonds with a 6 of hearts in your 52-day period and 9 of diamonds today. I felt like I might be fired from my job today. Will it happen this month or will I quit? That's a really great question. Okay, you're king of diamonds with a 6 of hearts in your 52-day position. What period is it? Are you in Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, or Saturn, or your Uranus or Neptune period? That will tell you something. 9 of diamonds, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't do a lot of prognosticating. I can, but like if you're meant to know something of that kind of question, then that's a question that your guides will answer, and your guides are like, no, we're not going to answer that here. And I don't know why. I'm sorry. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just pull it out of the ether, and they're like, no, don't tell her. I'm sorry. 6 of hearts is things are going to go smoothly, no change foreseen. Weather ball is green, no change foreseen. That's what I would tell you is that when you have a 6, it's not likely to change, especially the 6 of hearts because it's in the Mars line, which is it's very, I don't know, planning, predictability, strong boundaries. Yes, Saturn people have strong boundaries, and sometimes they're intimidating and triggering to others because they do. And in our culture, boundaries can feel harsh because we're a little more comfortable being enmeshed and codependent. um, It likes to kick our ass instantly. We just got to do the right thing and move with a purpose. My ascendant card is the 7 of spades. Wow, your Saturn ascendant, and it's the 7 of spades. Do you find, Jeannie, that as a 5 of diamonds, this tender-hearted, lively, happy, cheerful energy that is so sweet, and then that 7 of spades is just like, ah. Yeah, it's your Saturn card. I get what you're saying. It's your ascendant card. 7 of spades is such a kick your ass card. Like, does it show up in your life? And I'm asking this because of the other 5 of diamonds in my life. It shows up as kind of the hard challenge. I describe the 7 of spades as the spine of steel. People who are the 7 of spades, I nickname them the righteousness card because they're like, this is the right way to do it. So that voice is in you, it's around you. Is it you? Or do you project it out on others and be like, God, she's like kicking my ass. And I'm like really sick of it. I can't stand it when people tell me what to do and how to do it. That's my 5 of diamonds friend. She's like, whoa. She just like cuts people off as soon as they're like advicey. Try to tell her what to do or how to do something. And everyone's giving advice to the 5 of diamonds because they tend to be childlike. It's a trap. And yet, you know the right way. With that ascendant, with that card in your hand, you are just like you are sure of yourself. You may know that you're sure of yourself, but you are. And that's the wisdom. It's this guileless wisdom that 5 of diamonds have to offer the world. It's like, I know something. I learned the hard way. I'm not necessarily going to tell anyone about it, but I know it. Okay. Um, okay, I just got to backtrack. The great conversations about Saturn here. Yeah, I did a video recently called Reclaiming Saturn. And it was ruled by Saturn energetically. So it's just tight and concise. And it's like I watched the video again. I was like, I like that one. Despite my relationship with Saturn, but because of your moon card, you can relate. Okay. So your moon card as the Northern Lights, what's your card? Saturn is the regulator for sure. Um, Jason W. Lewis. Oh, you're talking to Jason. What does that mean? The job thing. Oh, like, yeah, you're simpatico about the job thing. She's been asking her guides. Okay, sometimes I just have to be like, okay, you guys are having a, and this doesn't bother me. You're interacting with each other, and I love that. Um, Fired, quitting, either is a challenging transition. Oh, so is the King of Diamonds, is this your wife with us? Because I know she's the King of Diamonds. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Seven of Spades pushes you to believe, right? It's the faith card, and I just said it in a different way by saying believing in yourself, believing in your own knowing. It really, since it's cards that sit next to each other, you'll find yourself saying the same thing about them, and this is okay. It's not one or the other. It's the part of how one leads into the other and has a relationship. The relationship between the Seven of Spades and the Eight of Spades is confidence. You'll find these little key words that are links between the cards. The link between Seven of Diamonds and Eight of Diamonds is conviction. I've come up with a bunch of these. Fours and fives are obvious to me, like stability versus transition. It's like it's looking for direction. I would say that's the linkage word. You become much more open. I'm the one giving the advice a lot, but I don't know how to take it without feeling criticized or misunderstood because all the sevens are a bit detached. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally know what you're talking about. Okay. Righteous is ruled by Saturn. Have you heard of the book Cards, Bible, Church, Religion, or Bible, Church, Religion explained by a deck of 53 playing cards? Oh my God! I'm going to take a snapshot of that because I like that title. I have to, okay, where's my camera? I have to take a picture of that before it moves on. What a compelling title. I love Saturn and Pluto energy. Well, bless your heart, Elena. Did I say it right? That you love Saturn and Pluto. I have come to love Saturn and Pluto a lot too. Pluto is, it's not just about the death, it's about the rebirth. And then when you've moved on into rebirth and you've transcended whatever you died to, ego or whatever, that is like divine purpose. So that's how I've kind of evolved. Alina, thank you. That's how I've evolved into thinking about Pluto. Why do you love Pluto energy, Alina? It's on Amazon. Very interesting read. I would love to read it. Is the moon card included in 13 card spread? Yes. Three of Diamonds, Six of Hearts, or Four of Clubs. The moon for Three of Diamonds is the Five of Clubs. The moon would be the, okay, if you're looking at the mundane spread, obviously you think of your moon card as the Five of Clubs. But it would be very worthwhile to think about the Five of Hearts. You've got a double five in your moon position, which means you are crazy about variety, restlessness, spinning, but it's also presence. Five is the ability to be present with the cyclone going around you. And I would say, as a Three of Diamonds, strive for that experience, to sit silently in the center. All of the odd cards, the pip is in the center, and it's a little bit more of an opportunity to be in the center of something and experience yourself. Not dissing on the even cards, but you've all got odd cards in your hand, right? So the question would be, where am I more, what aspects of my life cause me to be more introspective, more contemplative, more aware of my own experience? Yeah, so if you have tons of odd cards in your hand, maybe you're not oriented that way so much. Or maybe you're a navel gazer if you're in the Saturn line, or Mercury line, or Uranus, or Venus. That's me. Yeah, that's where I kind of live and move and have my being. Um, so I wanted to address a little bit more the Four of Clubs, the Moon for Three of Diamonds is okay. Six of Hearts is right next to the Four of Clubs. So I would say the ascending moon card for the Six of Hearts is the Four of Clubs and the Five of Clubs and its own Six of Hearts. Wouldn't it be nice to have yourself in your own moon position? Maybe that's why certain Six of Hearts I know have a certain kind of confidence within themselves. It's like there's more of them there. Just a thought. It's not always the most comfortable, but so profound, right? So you've got, Alina, you have some Scorpio. Am I right? Beginner question here. Okay. Oh, that's all right. Yeah, that's totally fine. Think of the Five of Clubs, Five of Hearts also as your ascending Mercury card, which becomes a language that is in service to people. And you're a word crafter, Jason. I think you have an ability to gift people with articulation. And that's one of the skills of the Five of Clubs, I think. It's curiosity, it's research, it's openness to new information, it's awakening, it's being present with people mentally and emotionally. So that's how that Five of Clubs works in an ascending way. And we go back and forth. Death is so beautiful. I love it. Scorpio rising. I nailed it. Super Capricorn stellium. You realize those energies bring you so much closer to you and your purpose. Exactly. And you have to be ready for them. Your soul is ready to handle those energies in this lifetime. I'm Scorpio South Node, which means I did a lot of that in a past life. I'm super comfortable with people who live there, who want to talk about it. Yeah, and I probably live there to some degree too. I love Pluto. Okay, Five of Hearts in the perfect spread. Yeah. The Four of Diamonds as the transformation card. Can you or the chat please speak in depth about it? Okay, Four of Diamonds as transformation. So let me count back. Okay, that would be Pluto. Dun, 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 dun. So which card are you? Let me just confirm what card you are that makes the Four of Diamonds the transformation card. Okay, the way I think about transformation, if we have the same understanding, is that I call it Jupiter or Saturn plus plus. Kind of like the ultimate transformation, the ultimate, like there is a goal. There is if I could just become this, I would integrate something that just feels almost out of reach. Is that how that feels to you, Cosmic Sunflower? And I would say, okay, and you've got to tell me what your card is, so I make sure we understand. Yeah. The jumbled communication. It's because it's happening faster than you can. Yeah. So be present with yourself and your mental process as you're trying to get it out because it's succulent. There is a succulence about the five and the way they can communicate. I am totally channeling this. I have never even thought about it. Oh, that's so exciting. It's a synergy that's happening with all of us. So Cosmic Sunflower, yeah, please tell me what your card is. And I would say that what is ultimately challenging about the four is to define yourself, to limit yourself, to create a sense of boundary in a box. And my guess is that you don't like that. I have a four in that position too. I have Four of Clubs as one of my transformation cards, and it's a gift. It's called the Sanity. I call it the Sanity card. Um, it's going to get bananaed, banned. by climbing the tree and learning. Oh, wait. It's like going to get a banana by climbing the tree and learning how to climb in the process. It's rewarding instead of just getting discarded banana peels. Yes, I love that. That is beautiful, Alina. Beautiful. Yes, Jason, I think you should be a master teacher. And it comes from the master teachers among us that really have the greatest impact are the most authentic, right? Because they have that quality of humility. Because, if you're sucked into some celebrity thing who's just feeding off of your worship, it's like, ugh, right? Um, the Phoenix. So much. Okay, here's our little Scorpio rising. Yes, you see similarities between the two. There definitely are because they're kind of like, it's like there's the soft blue planetary energy, and then there's the hard red fiery challenge. I mean, those are just the colors that are coming to me, but like Venus, Jupiter, Neptune, easy, sweet, and then Mars and Saturn and Pluto, Uranus is like, hey, I'm Switzerland. I'm not going to choose a side. I'm going to be vague and neutral and strange. Your moon to your sun. Oh, yeah. When you're moon to somebody, you're also Mercury. There's a beautiful opportunity for understanding and safety. Four of Diamonds feels like protection of values through stability. My mom is a Four of Spades in her King of Diamonds year. Yeah, Four of Spades, it's a tender, teddy bear, kind, unselfish, caring. I love it when you're authentic. That's the Queen of Diamonds connection, though, Jason, because you're able to speak the unpopular truth. You're able to say the kind of acerbic thing that's going to cut through the grease like a surfactant. That's the Queen of Diamonds influence that you're talking about, I'm guessing. Oh, Alina's amazing. Yeah, and I'm really glad that she's like sharing and colorful and like showing up. It's so fun when you guys do that. The Four of Diamonds is your Mercury. You often get tasked with being clear with your words to get your true desires. Oh, I love that articulation. Very good. You're definitely studying the cards in a very organic way and allowing these things to come to you. Yeah, so clarity, the challenge of being clear. Okay, that's what I thought, Northern Lights. You're the Three of Spades. Get it. Okay, so Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn, Jupiter, Saturn. Got it. Okay, so the Three of Spades, obviously, like, oh, this makes so much sense why this is so difficult for you. Yes, your entire chart and the composite. Yeah, definitely do that. So the thing that, okay, my guides want to tell you something and reward you with asking such a deep, penetrating question and inviting the group to bring their wisdom to it. My guides are like, we want to address that. The reason the Four of Spades is this transformation card for the Three of Spades, Four of Diamonds, okay, is it's hard for them to become general, specific, clearly defined, coloring inside the lines, as it were. That's kind of my interpretation of what they're saying. They're like, you got it. Okay. So the Three of Spades is the artist, right? They're like, I create from that which is in my heart. I've never gotten this about the Three of Spades till just now. It is their job to be the artist among us, to be the original, to be the creative, to be like, I thought it should be done that way, so I'm going to do it. There's something about the authority. The spade energy brings an authority to the whole picture that can sanction other people to live that way. Like the Seven of Spades will sanction all the other sevens. This is huge. If I still had my little brown velvet book, I used to write down little insights about the cards. This is one I would write down. Spades sanction the other cards. Two of Spades, you sanction all of the other twos to be a two. So the Three of Spades needs to color outside the lines. They need to color, draw, create. They're like, I don't want a coloring book. I want a sketch pad. I don't want lines. I want to be able to play with my font, and they don't want boundaries. Okay, but here's the thing. If you could package yourself and be able to give that to someone, wouldn't that be amazing? They're using the word code. Can you discover your code So it's kind of like a binary code. Yes, it may feel limiting, but you are an individual. We do come in with limitation. And so if you could put your code down on paper and say, okay, this is my code, this is my, if you could write, what would they call it? Like a manifesto? If you could write, there are better words for this. They're not coming to me, but like here's my philosophy. Here's what I've come up with. This is the best I can offer you. So becoming clear, becoming defined, that's one aspect of why the Four of Diamonds is challenging for you. And all of the other interpretations are correct. There's some more. I tend to get away from the fundamentals, which isn't always a good thing. The fundamental of the Four of Diamonds is I'm enough. I'm enough. And so sometimes Three of Spades, I'm sure having the Nine of Hearts right next to them are going to deal with self-esteem. Am I enough? Just as myself? Or do I need to be spectacular? Which is very easy for me because I can accomplish a whole bunch of things and run circles around everybody. But just me, myself, alone, stripped down, naked, not offering anything. Like say I've gotten in an accident or I'm not like totally competent. Would I still be enough in of myself? I would say that's another aspect of that thingamajig. Okay. Alina says, Jason, people most likely are avoiding truth. Absolutely. And your authenticity makes them look at things that makes them uncomfortable. Bingo. But your perspective is necessary because you see. And she puts hearts, which I would say if you can see the truth in love, speaking the truth in love, that makes all the difference. So I have a therapist, April 9th, Queen of Diamonds, and Three of Spades. She's fucking awesome. She's one of my favorite people in the whole world. She's like, has a heavy Buddhist background, has done a lot of meditating. She knows what a mess she is. She does EMDR counseling. She is capable of spotting the truth and discerning it. And sometimes she's acerbic. Sometimes it's not comfortable to hear what she has to say. But man alive, when you're in pain, you're like, get the thorn out. So sometimes, So there you have it. And if you're a diamond female or you have the Queen of Diamonds anywhere in your chart, you will be a truth teller. And it won't always be popular, but if you can be guided by spirit and be clear about your motives and deliver it with love and tenderness. I mean, she is able to deliver a lot of truth lovingly and tenderly too, but she had to come to that. Queen of Diamonds have to grow into that. They can be hypercritical because they have Seven of Clubs in Saturn. It's the discernment card. And they live in the Saturn line. Everything is Saturn to them. And it's really hard. It's really hard. Saturn is just hard. The code, the mission. I was thinking code. The little green codes. Yes. Alina, you're reading my mind. It's deciphering, decoding, discerning. Yeah. Oh my God, this has been so much fun and we're already over an hour. Can you friggin' believe it? Gosh. Okay, so this seems to be a good time. I need to think about it, pray about it, but let's aim for this same time next week. And what I've also learned is that being heavily watching YouTubes, I watch a lot of YouTubes. When there's a channel that I really, really like, I'm more likely to watch the thing that they've set up if it's like the next day. If it's a week out or 2 weeks out, I'm like, I don't live there. I live right here. That's just kind of how I am. But I purposely didn't post this until like, what was it, yesterday or this morning that I was going to do this today at 1, and there's a lot more viewership. So I don't know. The goal isn't tons of people. It's a meaningful exchange in my mind. That's more important. But anyway, is there anything else I can address? Do you have any questions, any logistical questions, like how to get a hold of me? Or I'm getting that there is interest in Facebook, and I promise you I will get on Facebook and do a live. I will see if I can get into my Kismet Facebook page. I haven't. Me too, Alina. I love this. This was really fun. And thank you for your contributions. Thank everybody. Oh, click that like button. Yes, truly. I mean, like I go back and I see videos and I'm like, nobody liked it. And I'm like, my guides are like, that represents about a quarter of the people that liked it, the ones that actually hit the like button. So Yeah, one of my videos on my other channel was remote view the current timeline, and it ended up being it was very good. I listened to it a second time because I was like, "Did that totally suck?" And it was very articulate and esoteric. It was tight, it was fascinating, and it was, like I said, really esoteric, and my sister calls me and she's like, "Did you see that 325 people watched that video?" And I was like, "What?" They watched at least a couple seconds of it. I guess people those 2 things, remote view and current timeline, people are like, "What the hell is going on?" And they got a God perspective with that video, not so much logistics. Anyway, what the hell was I about to say? Um, oh, righteous is your wife. Got it. And I don't get that she's gonna get a job change, but I get that there's something needling her about it, and it's really important for her to honor what is needling her about it because I see her being set free from it, and she will be the one to set herself free, but they're saying 4, that could be April, that could be 4 weeks, 4 days, 4 months, they're saying 4. And I do feel like it's about April-ish that she'll be set free from something that's frustrating about that. Just because I like your wife so much. I just needed to pull that through. Okay. My fault. I often watch Working gave you like, yeah, that's fine. My mentor used to say when the silence is a standing ovation when people are floored. Oh, that's so true. I just watched Shakespeare in Love, and at the end of Romeo and Juliet, everybody's like, and he's back there going, what the fuck did I do wrong? Nobody's clapping. um, Thank you for giving me the like right now, Ray. Bronze, hi, happy to see you here. How do you interpret 8 of diamonds during the Mars period? I'll get to that, and we'll let everybody else go if they need to, because they've been here for an hour, 4 weeks. Okay, Saturn has been crazy challenging. Oh, you're so welcome, Righteous, you beautiful King of Diamonds woman. Yeah. Yeah, I'm hearing self-definition and giving yourself the permission to just really define yourself, which means I am this, but I am not this. There are things that you're not that's important for you to really zero in on. So Bronze, I want to answer your question. How do you interpret 8 of diamonds during the Mars period? It depends on what your card is. So what is your card and what is your relationship to the number 8? I would say, and thank you for all the hearts. That is so sweet. 8, okay, so Mars answers the question, what are you going to be passionate about? What are you going to be doing? I would say it's likely, especially if you're female or you have been oppressed in any way, you're going to be angry and it's going to be healthy. Okay, 8 of clubs. Defining yourself in your role. Yeah, that's a good articulation, Alina. 8 of diamonds. 8s bring about conviction and what we're no longer willing to put up with. So 8 of diamonds, yeah, it's power with money, but it's conviction about something. And where does it live? Saturn and Uranus, right? In its pure spread position. Saturn, Uranus. Uranus is the breakthrough rebel insight. And Saturn is like, let's make it real. So I would say it's about getting clarity about what's important to you and feeling a sense of empowerment with it. And it might make you nervous and uncomfortable because all 8 of clubs are like a little uncomfortable with their power. I think most 8s are probably a little uncomfortable with their power and don't want to think in terms of themselves as powerful, partly because they have a 7 in their moon position in the pure spread. 7 is sensitivity, it's fear of disappointment, things like that. And so yeah, that's one thing that makes them effective leaders if they've really worked through the 7 energy to bring them to a place of humility, discernment, really feeling their own pain. So anyway, don't be afraid to say, I'm not willing to compromise myself. What I'm hearing is don't compromise that period. Take it for all it's worth. Yes, right? Saturn, Pluto, Mercury energy today on a Venus day. That's interesting. Well, and as I talked about last week, what is today for you? It's Uranus for me, based on the fact, just for this year, based on the fact that last birthday was on a Sunday. So that makes Fridays my Uranus day. That's one reason this works really well for me on a Friday is, people coming together and sharing insight. So that's something to think about. Alina, Saturn is hard at work, but Saturn allows you to decide how you work. Ooh, that's something to think about. Yeah, I think I might go back and watch my Reclaiming Saturn video because we really are. I was taking a walk and my guides just totally downloaded me one day, and it was so beautiful because it's about self actualization, a healthy kind of pride in what we're capable of. Okay. Saturn delays but never denies. Oh, that's lovely. Because Saturn's the real deal. Yeah, and don't buy what the world and the Luciferian shitheads are telling you about Saturn. It's not the malefic. It's your best friend. It wants you to get there. That's what shifted for me. And sometime in my 50s, I was like, oh, Saturn is totally on my side. It wants me to get there. And it's capable of cutting through my delusions to get me there. All the shit that I hold myself back with. And finally, you just get tired of that shit, you know? You have a lot of, Bronze says, wait, clean your room, but you can listen to music and dance while you work. This is so true. Dancing. Yes, I have a lot of Saturn influence Capricorn stellium with Saturn in Aquarius. I have a Capricorn stellium too. It's Jupiter it's Cancer in the 10th house, and it's Mars, Jupiter, and Venus. And your stellium is in Capricorn with Saturn in Aquarius. I've experienced a lot of hardships early in life. I feel like life is finally beginning to become sweeter. Oh, I totally stand behind you, especially as an 8 of clubs. Yeah, and I feel like that's so true for me. And that's the reward of Saturn is like, yeah, you've been humbled and it's tough going through all the self-doubt. I think that's the worst part. And then you realize that you're loved. At least for me, that was the biggest challenge. I am loved. Jason, I have an enormous amount of Saturn code numerology in my code. Interesting. So maybe Saturn is something that kind of is bringing us together. And we're like, let's work on our shit. Let's work on it. Work. Yeah, reclaiming Saturn link. Yeah, just go. It's on this channel, so just like scroll down a little bit. You'll find it in my lives. You have to click on the live. That's something I wish I could change about my channel is that really old videos show up if you go to my channel. But if you click the live button, then you see the recent ones because I pretty much only do live videos. But yeah, 8 of clubs, hang in there. You're a very unique card. 8 of clubs is unique in all the deck, and it's very challenging to be. And my daughter's an 8 of clubs. She's 31, and I just want you to know what wholehearted support I have for you. Anyone that chooses to be the 8 of clubs is either nuts, overly optimistic, fatalistic, or they're an old soul. It's hard. It's tough to be, and they're amazing people. Yeah, totally Saturn support group. Yeah, even though your Jupiter, no, your Neptune Mars, like illusion, like that's kind of yeah, the rings of Saturn are like cuffs or chains, and it's like, you know what? I'm gonna throw that out. I think they're pretty. Let's just redefine those rings, eh? Like they're just pretty. Everyone likes Saturn because it's like really pretty. I think it came from, what do they say? It came from there was a planet in the asteroid belt that is an exploded planet, Tiamat, and the rings of Saturn came about because of that somehow. I don't know. They also say maybe it used to be a sun. Saturn is very interesting. If you want to know more about Saturn and the historical connections with it, there's a show that I watch. These guys that I watch, their show is called Edge of Wonder. They got taken off of YouTube during that big purge, and they're now on Rise TV, rise.tv. They have their own platform, and they're also on Rumble. if you look for Edge of Wonder on Rumble, and they have a whole bunch of videos on Saturn, and they do deep dive research type stuff. And also John Vivanco, the guy that trained me in remote viewing, is a contributor to that, and he's got the most fascinating. He actually did set up a YouTube channel called Metaphysical. His name is John Vivanco, and if you Google that in the YouTube bar, you might find his channel Metaphysical. It's just, they're usually about a half hour, and it's really fun. He tells you what the results are of the remote viewing groups on various esoteric subjects. Oh, rings of Saturn, wedding band, wedding ring. I like that. Yeah, we can just redefine it. Okay. Oh, I hear you. It's a book by Norm. See, the heart icon is right. See if I can move that. No, I can't. The heart covers up the last word, the end of the word of the last comment, so I can't see. But in Norman, I'm guessing, Bergrun called Rings of Saturn. Okay, I'm gonna go now. I love you guys. This is just rip-roaring fun. I loved it. This is the best part of my day so far. Okay, have a really blessed, blessed afternoon, my friends, and I will talk to you soon. I will just get on here and do an unexpected live now and then just because I can't help myself. And you're so welcome, Jason. Thank all of you. Saturn wears a belt to whip people in shape. I like that. Don't make me get the hose. Yay, Robin Williams. I love him. I think he's alive. I sort of do. Bye.